Hopefully I'm here. This has been a fun experience. Sorry, y'all, for those that came here at 10 o'clock on the hour, ready to see me present live, and I wasn't here. One of the joys of working at home. So for those that don't know, I've got 4 kids, and our daughter just had some, oh, look, sweet. Tristan, what's up, man? Arthur, no, you're second. Close. Hey, y'all, just once again, appreciate you, the patience. TGIF, that's all I got to say, TGIF. So the fun thing is, for those that don't know, I'm currently beta launching my course, and I've launched a course before, and you would think that I have it all figured out, but it's been a few years since I've done that. I've been doing other things since then, and it's just been a lot of fun relearning everything that goes into launching a course. And also, what's up, Antonio? Also, this I don't do a lot of live broadcasts. I thought I had it set up ready, but that is a whole other experience. So I wanted to use my DSLR, so I've got good video quality. I have 2 different microphones. This is a whole other tech side of things, but I know I used another mic before, my more expensive mic. And last time I did a live broadcast, everybody was saying that they can only hear out of the left ear. So I want to make sure to use this mic. So I hope everything's good. No one has been commenting that they can't hear me or anything like that. So, what's up? Hey. So just before I get started, could you just, if you can hear me okay, both channels, thumbs up. Yes, can hear you. Great, fantastic. I see some thumbs. I'm not sure if that's for the broadcast or the fact that you can hear me. It's good. All right. Well, I know you've been waiting long enough, so let's go ahead and just kind of dive into this real quick. Audio and picture is on point. Thanks, Joshua. Appreciate that. Cool. So, just really wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously, I've got this course coming out, but it's really not so much the course. It is the teaching and the life lessons and the experience behind this course. And one of the fun things for me is that, so quick backstory, I wanted to launch what I would call a flagship course 2-3 years ago, maybe even longer than that. Ever since the blog really took off and I had an insane amount of traffic, and just seeing other content creators that have just launched amazing courses, and it's not just the fact to have a course, but it's the impact that the courses have. It's people actually taking action and implementing the steps in those courses and seeing results. There's nothing more satisfying than being a content creator and seeing people actually take action with your advice. But I would tell you, I began this journey of wanting to create the perfect thing, and I just didn't have it. And everything I was trying to create just wasn't ready for what it was supposed to be. So fast forward now 3-4 years later, it's finally came. It took me doing other business ventures. It took me launching another course to get to where I'm at today. And I just really want to share that with you, because oftentimes, you want to create something, you want to start something, you want to do something. And when you put a lot of pressure to do something that maybe you're just not ready for, there's just a lot of frustration. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of just animosity, towards that. So just want to encourage you all, wherever you're at in your entrepreneurial business journey, just remember that it does take time. So, all right, but I wanted to just kind of dive into just really the point of this whole broadcast today, and is really talking about my passive income journey, because quite contrary to what the meaning of what passive means, my journey hasn't been passive until the last 3 or 4 years now. But going back, so I hope many of you have read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and don't want to get in a whole thing about his business model and everything, but really it was just, for me, it was the core message behind this book. And this book just opened my eyes to a new potential, a new opportunity, one that wasn't taught to me by my parents, one that was never discussed in school. And when I think I read this book, all right, awesome, Megan, right in the middle of it. When I read this book, I was, I want to say I was in my early 20s, and I just remember reading it, getting really, really inspired, inspired to start something. But, this book doesn't really give you a blueprint, or a plan to go out and start something. He does talk about some different things, and one of the things he did talk about was MLM, multi-level marketing. And if you watch a few of my videos, I've been kind of harsh on MLM, which is funny because I know people that actually do very well with MLM. Most of them are in the essential oil network. So, but I mean, like I know people that have like a 6-figure business with that. So it's not like all MLM is bad, but I will tell you that in my experience, majority of the time that I've encountered somebody that went the MLM route, especially those that were looking for a quick fix, looking for that quick business that they can start up, and just like make money immediately. And I think that's just with MLM, and how it's marketed. It's like, oh, it only takes, 5 hours a week. And, my first experience with MLM was a guy that was doing, it was Juice Plus and it turned into Quick Star, I think Amway. He was also a chiropractor. And I just remember, even in like the weekly meetings, it was like, oh, it's only 5 hours a week. But like, I knew that he was working 40 hours a week just on his MLM business, not including his chiropractic business. And he'd been growing it for like 2 or 3 years and was making about $40,000 a year. Now, $40,000 a year, like that's a lot of money. Like that is most people's, full-time salary. Like that's great. But it's $40,000 and you've been doing it for 3 years. And you're marketing it as something that only takes 5 hours a week. I mean, that's just really, I just had a really hard time, accepting that and going with that. But nonetheless, like, having read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I began the journey of like, I got to try MLM, So I did, I think I did Juice Plus. I did Quick Star, which became Amway. That was all the ones that I tried, but I can remember I had a client that was a realtor, and she came into my office with another guy who was representing some MLM business, and it was one of those where you could bundle some of your services together, like your phone bill and your satellite, and I think he was an insurance salesman before, but now he's making so much more money with this business. And I was probably 3 or 4 years into being a financial advisor. And I think that's why my client brought this guy in. Anyway, it was funny because she basically was like giving me the guilt trip that like, if I don't sign up for like under her for this business, like then she's going to take her account elsewhere. And the funny thing was she wasn't that really big of a client. But like I'm just sharing this because these were my experiences with MLM, is seeing people that were busting their butt, making okay wages, not a lot. Other people, I had another friend we were really good friends, like his wife and my wife were friends. But it became the point where you couldn't hang out with them without them talking about their MLM business. Like it was just so annoying. And then like they started calling our friends, like they would, and it was always disguised as the pretense of like, hey, we want to get to know you, become your friends. And, but really like, no, it wasn't genuine. Like it was all, we just want to get to know you because we want to show you this business opportunity. So that just really rubbed me the wrong way when it came to MLM. Not to mention the fact, like I wasn't making any money. I think the largest check I ever got from any of these businesses was like I think it was like $150. I want to say $300, but I also know that I probably spent like $400 or $500 on product, which was like energy drinks. Like I was buying. I'm thinking, okay, that's a whole other story. Anyway, those drinks were pretty good though. So MLM, passive income, that didn't work. And so then it began like, okay, what's the next thing? And then it became real estate. And real estate, if you get into it, I mean, it can be a very lucrative, it could be a side hustle. It could be a side business. It can become your main business. You know, I had friends I had a really good friend back in Illinois that actually there's a blog post. It's an older one that he wrote on a Good Financial Sense. And at the time he was, I think 30, I think he just turned 30 years old and was making $250,000 a year doing real estate. And with him, it was, the cool thing about him was like he would adjust depending on what the market was. So he had rental property. He was buying houses on wholesale. He was flipping properties. He was doing lease to own. So he had just many different ways of doing real estate, and he was making a lot of money with it. And I want to say like before, I think it was either before, I can't remember what time frame was. But anyway, I remember that, okay, MLM didn't work. You know, Robert here talking about real estate. All right, I'm gonna become a real estate investor. And I do remember this. I remember going to a St. Louis Cardinals baseball game with my best friend at the time, and I think we had just made an offer on our first rental property and hadn't closed yet. But I just remember telling him, because I'd read, you know, sorry to say, Donald Trump's book. I had taken, my father-in-law had bought this DVD course, Carlton Sheets, and I can't remember the name of it, but he bought, you know, it was one of those infomercials and bought it for $300. Not DVD, I'm sorry, it was a CD. Like, it wasn't even DVDs, it was a CD information course. So I was listening to these CDs like in my car, you know, driving to work. And I remember telling my best friend, like, dude, by the end of the year, like, my goal is to own at least 10 to 12 different properties. And I said it in a way that I was very sure of myself. If I'm being honest, I was a little cocky. I was a little overly confident. As I said, we just made an offer on our first rental property, and that property we didn't get. We ended up, which book? Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the book I've been referring to. I'm not sure we mean which book. Sorry, I just saw that comment come through. So my camera's here, my computer screen's here, so if I'm looking this way, that's what's up. You know, I was going to have 12 different properties. And so the first property we didn't get. It was a HUD property that actually would have been an amazing property. But then we did put an offer in on a duplex. The offer was accepted. And here's a good lesson. And I have a video that talks about this, by the way, if you want to check that out. But the lesson learned there was I had friends that were real estate investors. My CPA is and still is a real estate investor. I mean, he's developed properties, he's got rental properties, he's got commercial property. I had resources to go to seek guidance, to seek mentorship on this rental property, but I didn't because I read Trump's, you know, his first book. I can't even think of the book. He's wrote several, but not to support him or anything, but his book, actually, it was pretty good. It gets you fired up to become a real estate investor. But then doing the Carlton Sheets CD course, I didn't seek any mentorship. Like, I felt like I knew what I was doing. I'm a finance guy. I know the numbers. I've got this. And the offer was accepted. And then after the offer was accepted, I remember I had a meeting with my CPA. I had a lunch meeting, and I shared with him like the property that we were getting ready to buy, close on. And he just looked at me and just said, "What are you doing? Like, this is not a good property. You're overpaying. If you have one minor incident, you know, with the AC unit or just any minor repair, yet alone a major repair, like you're going to lose money. Like, you're out of the money, like in the first year." And it just became this, oh crap, like what did I get myself into? Now, thankfully, I was able to get out of that deal, so I didn't have to buy the property. I didn't lose any of the earnest money I had to put down. It was only $500, but either way, I got that money back. And, you know, what I didn't mention was up until that point, you know, that duplex, the HUD house that we made an offer on, it was a lot of time driving around the area looking at properties. It was eating up a lot of time. So, and I was a financial advisor, I was still trying to grow that practice. And here I am, like, going to look at properties. My father-in-law, we were at the time, like, we were trying to do this together. And so he would look at properties, I would look at properties, and it was just like eating so much time. And I just remember after that rental property fell through, I just really thought, like, man, I need to refocus on what I'm good at, like what I know. And I just went back to growing the financial planning practice. So here I am, like I've now read Rich Dad Poor Dad years ago, and like I'm still trying to figure out, like, what is that thing? What is that thing? And I'm not even really sure, like, why I was so obsessed with this, because I can remember the advisor that had hired me. That was my mentor and really was a father figure to me. I remember him bringing me into his office and just telling me, because he knew, like, the MLMs I was doing, he knew the real estate, and I remember him saying, focusing on growing your financial planning business, like, you'll make more money than you'll ever need to make. Like, you'll make more money than you ever need to make, and you don't need to chase these other things. I was young and I was naive, and I appreciated it, but like I knew that I was still determined to find something. And it's funny because it was good advice. I mean, he was totally right to an extent, but I still knew, like, there was something else. Like, I knew, and he was right. Like, yeah, I could make more money. I could make all the money that I needed being a financial advisor. But I don't know. I just had this belief that, like, there was something else, and having to do the exact same thing every day for the rest of my life. Like, I just felt like there was a bigger purpose, a bigger calling. And then that began, and I can't remember, like, even where it came from, but it wasn't shortly thereafter that I ended up reading an article where I learned about blogging. And so to date this, so you get a rough idea of, like, time frame wise, I mean, I wasn't on Facebook at this time. It was around, MySpace was still popular. Twitter was on, maybe just starting. I didn't do anything with social media. I actually despise anything to do with computers, and that was because my dad was really into computers and almost too much into computers. And for me, it was like more of a turnoff. So, like, I didn't want to mess with anything with computers. And when I read about blogging, I ended up leaving that financial firm. I co-founded my own investment firm, and that's really where I began to understand blogging. And blogging wasn't, at the time, it was just to market my financial planning practice. So once again, like, MySpace was still cool. I wasn't on Facebook. I didn't know anything about Twitter. But the blogging was something, when I finally understood what it was the reach, the potential reach, the potential to reach just thousands, if not millions of people. Because before then, I was doing I was, like, teaching an investment class through like the local junior college and through the local community. I was doing seminars. Like, I had this passion for teaching. I did the investment game at our local high school. And these were things, like, I enjoyed doing. But even, like, doing the investment class, like, I mean, there was like 20 people in the class, and it was 12 classes. So, like, I was having impact on 20 people, which was fantastic. But then just recognizing what a blog was and that potential reach. So I just began, publishing content. And it's cool now because, in present day, I mean, you have blogging, you have podcasting, you have YouTube. There are so many, even like all the micro social media, with Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter. Like, you have the potential to reach so many more people in such a short amount of time that it's just, it kind of blows my mind, right? Like, just how much it's grown. But, just going back, so, like, it began the blog. And if I didn't know what a blog was, you can pretty well rest assured that I didn't know how to make money from the blog. And I was blogging for like 9 months before I got my first client. So let's kind of like just let that sink in for a minute, right? So I start the blog. I'm publishing, let's say, 3 articles a week that I'm writing myself. I'm not a good writer, by the way. I'm still not a good writer. I'm a better writer. I'm not a good writer. I'm publishing 3 articles a week. I don't even know what WordPress is. I don't know how to install a theme. I don't know what SEO is. So I am doing extensive research. I mean, I'm saying at least 20, maybe 30 hours a week, sometimes more, that I was researching how to blog it effectively, how backlinks and all that fun stuff. But in all that research, like none of that was how to make money with the blog, because I didn't even, that even wasn't on my radar yet. And then I end up connecting with another personal finance blogger who was also in the military, and turns out he was deployed the same year that I was. He was in the Air Force. I was in the Army National Guard. So we kind of had like that immediate connection, and he basically, I was his battle buddy, or he was my battle buddy, I should say. And he kind of took me underneath his wing and started to show me some of the things that I needed to do, just to like help with the blog. There's just some things I was doing as a newbie, had no idea, like I was hurting myself and preventing myself, the site from growing and getting more traffic. So we built a pretty good relationship, mostly through email. And then we ended up getting on the phone one day. I remember I was driving and we just started talking. And I just remember on that phone call, like that's when he shared with me like how much he was making from his site. So going back, I think somebody said this is a long time ago, the comments earlier. So this is, I'm going to go back to 2008, maybe 2009. I think it was 2009 is when this conversation took place. And in that car, and as I'm driving, he shares with me that he's making, so he had 2 websites and still does, both in the personal finance niche. And his sites were making over $30,000, sometimes $40,000. Not per year, but per month. So $30,000, sometimes $40,000 per month from his 2 personal finance websites. And I can remember, so this is before hands-free driving was required. I think I was on my BlackBerry, driving. And I just remember him saying that, and I was like, what? Like, almost ran off the road, because I was floored. If he would have said he was making $40,000 a year, that would have impressed me. Once again, going back to my other friend that was an MLM, the chiropractor that was busting his butt doing MLM, doing his teachings and recruiting people and having meetings. And he was making $40,000 a year. And then this guy is making $40,000 a month, and he's doing this at home on his laptop. And that was just, that was eye-opening. That was very eye-opening. So that began this journey of trying to figure out, okay, not only do I want to grow the financial planning practice, but recognizing that I've been able to get some traffic, through Google, SEO traffic, and this is all stuff that I learned, with help of him and others. It's like, okay, well, everybody that comes to my site, like they're not going to become a financial planning client. How can I also monetize that traffic? And initially it was just Google ads. I threw on Google Adsense. And that was a lot of fun, because I think it was within the first 2 months. So I've been blogging for 9 months, put Google AdSense on the site, and I think it was within 2 or 3 months I was able to make my first Google AdSense check. And I'm going to see if I can actually show you guys this real quick. Sorry, I'm using Ecamm Live, so let me see if I can... I just found this. So do you see my screen? I think you can see it, right? Yeah. So, yes, it has my, oh no, that was my old address anyway. Hopefully you can see my screen. So this is the first check. So February 2009. This is the first check that I got from Google. $152.91. And that was such a big deal, because it was like the internet, like the internet made me money. And not only that, it was Google. Like Google sent me a check. Like this was a hard check. They sent in the mail, And I didn't deposit this thing for several months because I was just like, man, it's a check from Google. I'm not going to cash this. I kind of wish I wouldn't have cashed it, to be honest with you. But anyway, that was like the breakthrough moment for me. $152.91, which didn't pay our mortgage. I think barely paid our electricity bill. May have paid for our groceries for half the month. So it didn't have like a huge financial impact, but it was such a mental impact, such a motivational impact, because it showed me that it was possible. It was possible. And so then it began the journey of like, well, how do I make more? And that's what I ended up doing. So I ended up making more. Now, obviously, that's not passive. Like that wasn't passive. Publishing 3 blog posts a month, like none of that was passive. So it then began, it was me joining a coaching program for entrepreneurs and small businesses. And the theme of this coaching program was showing you how to build. They didn't have the messaging as clear as they do now, but was building a self-managed company. So basically a company that can operate on its own. It doesn't need the CEO, doesn't need the founder to be there to run. And really, when you think about any major corporation, like think of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, if those guys are on vacation, if they're off sailing, for a month, like they've got a team in place that's going to take care of the company. Obviously, they got to come back and offer some leadership there. But that I became really obsessed with how do I make more? How do I have more of an impact without working more? How do I do that without incurring more stress? And that also around this time frame, I'd already read 4-Hour Workweek with Tim Ferriss, but so that was like another impact of how do I do this, and how do I make more and not work more? And I became obsessed with it. And it began this process of outsourcing, of delegating, of making sure to take out all the things that were here and put it down into a step-by-step process, what I would call like the Lego booklet, of how I do things. And so many people, they either get stuck in feeling that the entire business is dependent on them, or it's just a control thing. Like they just don't trust anybody else to do it the way that they would do it. They don't have the confidence, so they just can't. So they just keep doing it. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. And for me, it was, no, like I don't want to do that. Like there are things I just don't want to do anymore. And that began like this truly passive income journey to the point where I was taking off like days in the middle of the week. There was a time I used to work on the weekends, not so much on the financial planning side, but like on the online business. Like I was working on the weekends. Like it never failed that I was publishing content, writing content, on the weekends. To where like now it's almost laughable to me because right now I work, I'd say 20, maybe 25 hours a week. And just to kind of address this, because I've seen people comment, the fun trolls that come out in the YouTube world, but like, oh, if you're a millionaire, then why are you on YouTube? And it's just funny to me because I see other YouTubers that are super successful, like a Neil Patel. The dude is like a multi-millionaire, but like, so why is he on YouTube? Why is Dan Locke on YouTube? Why is Antonio Centeno on YouTube? Like, why are these guys on YouTube? And the reality is that, we're entrepreneurs, and we're also excited about like sharing the message because we're just compelled to do it. And my phone's ringing, and it's totally a spam call. I'm not going to answer that. And I'm totally drawing a blank. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Patrick McDavid from Valuetainment. The dude is like a multi-millionaire, and yet here he is publishing YouTube videos almost like daily, like 5 days per week. Like, why would he do it? And it's just this desire, because for me, I mean, you want to know my motivation, like reading this book and it having an impact on me to want to do something different, try something different, but not knowing where to go, what to do. And that is where essentially like where my course came from. The Passive 1K Income Accelerator was because, so in case for those that aren't familiar with this terminology, you know, whenever you have any sort of product or a course that you're creating, you know, the question they'll ask you, a lot of my mastermind will ask me, like, you know, who is your avatar? You know, who is your niche? Like, who are you trying to speak to? And it took me a while to figure that out. And the answer I had, the response is, my niche, my avatar is, I am talking to the young person that has read this book, that is inspired to do something different, to be different, to seek another way of not just making money, but of achieving independence, financial freedom, a way that's just different from everybody else. But they don't know where to go. They don't know where to start. Like that is who I'm speaking to, because many of you know that there's opportunities out there. And that's kind of the cool thing. Like, so this whole rebrand that I've done recently, Good Financial Sense is like my main blog, and now Wealth Hacker is kind of the new brand I'm going with. And to become a wealth hacker, basically, I mean, you just believe that there's something different out there for you, and you're willing to do anything, try anything, experiment with anything to figure that out. And it doesn't have to be online business. You know, it can be real estate. It can be high ticket sales, to give a shout out to Dan Locke. It can be franchises. It could be a brick and mortar business. You know, there are ways to hack your wealth differently than the way that I've done it. It just so happens like that this is the way that has just worked. It's worked for me. And essentially, like, that is what I want to share in my course is, you know, what is the process that I went through, and then obviously updating it to anything that has developed. But the cool thing is, like, a lot of things I've done, I look back and, like, it still works. It's just a matter, are you willing to do the work? So passive. So why is it called Passive 1K Income Accelerator? Because everything I've shared with you, like, is not passive. And a principle that I'll be sharing here soon, and you know, is a 70-25-5 passive income principle. But the principle is that you put it in the work. You know, 70% of the passive income is upfront, putting in the work. You know, figuring out the process, figuring out what it is that you need to do that actually makes money. The next 20%, 25% is figuring out that process of what it took to do that and to continue to perform, delegating, hiring, outsourcing to keep those systems in place. And then the remaining 5% is just the ongoing maintenance that it takes to require that to go. Because it's so funny, like, just the people that talk about passive income, just the people that hate are just, that's not passive. You know, passive means that you don't do any work. You know, you just make money. You don't do anything. And I love it, because anybody that makes that comment, I guarantee doesn't make any sort of passive income whatsoever. It's like they just want to look at the root definition of that word and immediately say, well, that's not passive. That, you know, you're working. Passive means you don't do anything at all. Okay. You go on with your bad self. Even if you are a real estate investor, but you can have a property management company, you know, take care of all your properties. Yeah, but you still have to talk to the property management company. You know, like, you still have to manage them and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, there still is some work involved, but obviously, you know, you've built up this business, this process, these systems that can have an amazing income without doing a lot of work. I know, trolls are fun. It's so funny because one of the most common things they say if you are starting an online business, especially blogging, is like, you know, don't feed the trolls, ignore the haters. And I believe that. Like, I believe that, and I subscribe to that for the longest period. But YouTube, man, it's just a lot of fun. And for me, I just have a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of fun with trolls. Like, it's just, I have fun. So it doesn't like take me off like my creativity, doesn't prevent me from doing more amazing things. I actually enjoy it a lot. So, but yeah. So anyway, just going back, it's just having this passive income stream that I have now. I mean, it's amazing. It is truly, truly amazing what has happened, and just going from making that initial $152 a month, to making $5,000 and then $10,000 and then $20,000, the point where, making, 6 figures a month and having a team in place that takes care of majority of it. And I'm talking like a good majority. Does blogging still work on the age of videos? It does. Yeah, absolutely it does. Now, I think what we're gravitating towards, and we're already here, is it's a multimedia channel, multimedia broadcast, meaning that like when you go to the blog, it's not just a blog. We've got YouTube, we've got a podcast. I love you for not being a troll. So blogging, yes, blogging is not dead at all. Has it changed some since I started? Yeah, it's changed some, but there's still messages that need to be shared. There's still messages that need to be shared, and people want to like read about your experiences. So only thing that's really changed is just like, how do you, so the blog to me is like, that is like your home base. Like that is your platform like that you want to direct people back to, where they can learn more about you. Yes, YouTube is a great platform that they can learn more about you. But it's going to take somebody some time to watch 2 or 3 of your videos, especially if you're long-winded like myself, and all my videos are 15 minutes or longer. So if I want somebody to watch 3 of my videos, like they'd had to commit 45 minutes. Like that's asking a lot. Versus if you go to the blog, you can go to my About page and you can scan through some of my blog posts and get to know me and more about my story and my views and my stances, to the point where they can just learn more about you in a quicker way than they can through YouTube. So just having that home base. If you don't know what your niche is, I mean, that's a tough one, but it's one that I think it starts with the cheesy line of, what are you passionate about? What moves you? Like what do you, when you're on Facebook, when you're on Instagram, like what are topics, what are themes that you find yourself gravitating towards? With my wife, when she started her blog, initially, it was just a showcase of our kids, be able to share basically baby pictures of our son at the time and our growing family. And then it became home decor. And then it became, she was a Beachbody coach, for a few years. It became fitness, and now she's kind of like she's been on a blogging sabbatical. But like her niche changed and developed. And I know for me, like the niche was always personal finance, and then it was entrepreneurship, and now it's building wealth, which is still kind of personal finance, but also talking about online business. And so never feel like, if you don't know what your niche is now, like it doesn't. I don't think you have to know, but I think people ask me about blogging, starting a blog. It's like, oh, I think I want to do it on this niche or this topic. And then it's like, all right, well, can you write 25 articles on that topic? And if you can, are you going to hate that topic at the end of that 25th article because you just can't talk about it anymore? For me, it was, with personal finance, it's, for my blog, I was just reliving the experiences I had with existing clients and my own personal experiences, and whether it just be through my family or just talking with friends, about finances. It's actually amazing to this day that, we're talking 10 years later, and the question I always get was, how do you come up with ideas? How do you keep coming? Don't you get bored or, talking about the same thing? And it's like, it's 10 years later, and I'm still not bored. I talk about blogging more, and I'll talk about YouTube, like, and that's okay. Like that is for me, I've given myself some freedom. Like that's some of my creative outlet. Cause I just published a video talking about how much like my most watched video on YouTube made, like that's really not so much like personal finance or entrepreneurship. But it was something I just wanted to share because I saw somebody else do a similar video, and like, man, that'd be a lot of fun. And like that video, I don't expect that to impact millions. I don't expect it to make millions, but the creative process in making that video and publishing that video, like it gave me a deposit, into my creative bank that I wanted to do. And that's even with the blog, like one of my most favorite blog posts that I wrote years ago was talking about In-N-Out Burger, because I am obsessed with In-N-Out Burger. For those that aren't familiar with the West Coast, like, it's the best burger in the world. Live here in Nashville. We now have gosh, I'm drawing a blank. The place out of New York. It's not Smash Burger. Shake Shack. So we have Shake Shack, which to me is just an In-N-Out Burger ripoff. But anyway, I published this blog post on In-N-Out, on why I love In-N-Out Burger. And it was one of the most, at the time, like one of the longest blog posts that I ever wrote. It didn't make me any money. But it just, for me, it was like showing people that were new to me, like more about, like, just like a funny quirk about my obsession with In-N-Out Burger. It was just kind of revealing, I'm glad that you're obsessed too. It just showed like a different side of me. And I enjoyed writing it, like this was the time I was still writing my blog post. Probably took me like 2 or 3 days to write that post. But anyway, and that's the thing, right? So going back to the original question of not knowing what your niche is, it's just like, what is a topic that you just want to talk about, you want to write about? And that was the bomb. And you just do it. And eventually, if that's a topic you don't want to talk about, that's fine. That's great. One of my good friends, his name is Brian Harris. His site was named videofruit.com. I'll say that one more time. Videofruit. I think he may have already changed it to his new domain, which I think is growthlab.com. But anyway, his site was Videofruit for the longest time, because I think he used to be into video, but he, as his niche changed, he didn't do anything with video anymore. And his main course at the time was like how to grow your email list. And like that was like his main revenue maker, and was making several $100,000 a year selling that course, like how to how to get your first 10,000 email subscribers. His website was Video Fruit, and his course was 10K subs, or email 1K, or I forgot the name of the course. Anyway, you get the point. But he started down this path of this niche, and along the way made a pivot. And even though he was doing nothing with video, his site was still Video Fruit for a number of years. And I think just this year finally changed it and had a now 7-figure business. So it's like, don't get stuck on the niche, basically, is my point I want to show you. So, a lot of comments. So with this whole eCam thing, like I see, oh, here they are. Ha! Check this out. I just saw the comments popping up. I didn't realize that there's on the side here. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, pay me 10 grand for something. Andy. Oh, Andy Traub. Andy, if you want to know anything about masterminds, how to start your first mastermind, how to run a successful mastermind, Andy Traub is the man. He's the one that helped me launch my men's mastermind group this year. That was $10,000 to be a part of. But Andy, giving you a pound, dude. Pound. All right. So unfortunately, I have to jet. That's why I want to start this earlier. I actually have a meeting I have to be to. But I think hopefully in the description, if you're interested in the course. So basically what's going on right now, this is my 90-second sales pitch for the course. So right now, the course is not complete. So this is what's called a beta launch. So that means that the content is outlined. It's ready to be recorded and released and published as I start doing the lessons, but it's not there yet. Another fist bump. Because it's not there yet, I'm giving a discount for those that are interested in the Passive 1K Income Accelerator, that want to get in before it actually launches next year. $997 is roughly, I think, where I'm going to start with the price. Could go up. I don't want to be one of those guys, but it will be at least $997. And right now, if you're interested, $397 is what the price is. So if you want to get in, so with that, you'll have lifetime access to the course, to any future updates. When the thing actually goes live, you'll have access to a private group where all the beta members are going to be there to ask any questions about the course. So yes, you'll get essentially some one-on-one mentorship from me through, I'm sorry, not one-on-one, but one to very few, well, hopefully not few. Already have, I think, 15 or 20 people that bought. So, but this thing is closing on Monday. So Monday I'm going to close the beta launched, and whoever's in is in, and I won't be adding anybody else there. So, and this is where I'm supposed to do a better job of dropping the link in there. And I know I have a shortcut. Forgot what it was, though. Text expander is what I use for my shortcut. I just forgot what my what the shortcut was, because that's what Jeff Rose does. Oh, where are you at? Okay, here we go. There it is. JPK. JPK. Boom. Oh my gosh, it didn't work. Apparently, it's joinpassive1k.com is the URL. That's hilarious. I guess text expander does not work in the shortcuts of Ecamm. So let me go ahead and just copy and paste that. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so at this point in time, I've only sent out 2 emails, is partially why. But yeah, I'm expecting at least to have 30, 40, maybe even 50 people in the beta course. I've only emailed a smaller segment of my list. It's kind of, I'm not actually, haven't been heavily promoting this. Somewhat intentional. JPK in the house. Boom. Joinpassive1k.com. Oh, and then I just realized there's no coupon. As you go there, you'll see the course is $9.97. So it is Passive 1K. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Andy, for that prompt. Passive 1K VIP is the coupon code for the $3.97. Put that code in at the checkout, and you'll see that pop up. So, in the description. Thank you, Wealthy Cam Girl. I love people that help me because this is what I need. You know, the fact that I am doing a live broadcast, my DSLR is working. There's audio that's working. That's a major win. So now I just gotta get the setup where I can just like plug it in and go. Oh yeah, it is in the video description. Oh, that's what. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I did put it in the description. Yes, I did something right. Boom. Awesome. So once again, it's $3.97. You have lifetime access to the course. The content is going to be rolling out the middle of this month. Actually, in about 8 days is when the first lessons will be revealed. Is this a one-time course? Will it be repeated later on? A one-time course? No. So basically, the idea is that the course. For me, the beta launch is I have like 80% of what I know I want to go in the course, but I know like there will be other stuff that I will add. There also will be bonuses that I'll add, like interviews that I want to bring in, just other resources I want to add to it later on. And then I'm going to then do like the big launch for the full price at the next year. But I think that answered your question. So, but yes, it is $3.97 right now is for lifetime for this course. $3.97 lifetime access. Any updates to the course are there. I'm not doing a reoccurring thing with this one. Event later on, I am planning on having some sort of membership community, but yeah. After list, plan to use try this too. After list, awesome, love it. You are somebody's a bully, huh? Don't be a bully. Hope we get access on that, right? Yes. Oh wait, looks like I already answered your question. So, yeah, no. So like if I haven't mentioned this, like this is the exact same process I did with my other course, my online advisor growth formula. I had a beta launch. It was $500, got people in, and then started adding content, and then just based on feedback from the beta members is like how I tweak that content, updated content, and to also have people that are willing to take action. So like for those that want to do this, replicate this, why $397? Why not $97? Why not the full price? And well, not the full price because I don't have anything in there yet. But also too is $397. It's a pretty bold asking price, especially when you log in like there's nothing there. But for me, it was if people are willing to invest $397 into themselves, into a course, into a concept, then I have to believe they're also willing to do the work that's required to achieve that goal. And the plan, my plan, you take this course, like I want you to make your first $1,000. Like that is the plan. Some people it's going to be a whole lot faster than others, but that's the plan. Anyway. So Andy's telling me to drop the link again. Copy and paste. Boom. There's the link. Coupon code is passive1kvip. And yes, the course will be around next year. Obviously, it'll be more than what it is, too. All right, y'all. I got a jet. So, appreciate y'all tuning in. Once again, apologies for the lateness. I definitely will be there. Be here on time next time. So, yeah. So, what I usually say, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Ends Monday, that's correct. 9 a.m. Monday, the cart is closing. And if you're on my email list, you'll see that. I'll have another update on the YouTube page as well. So, oh yeah. And if you have any more questions on that, hit me up on Twitter. Because Twitter is, I go Twitter. I'm one of those guys. I'm still on Twitter. Let's get my Twitter handle. It's @JJeffRose. If you want to hit me up on Twitter. Any questions on the course as well? Yes, Aaron, you will see me later. Aaron is a early adopter. He's in the beta class. What? Awesome. All right. Hope you all have a good weekend. Peace out. Enjoyed you all being here. Really appreciate it, man. And women. Peace. All right, I gotta say bye. How do I end this thing? Andy, how do I end it on Ecamm? Where's the stop? Oh, there it is. Finish. There it is. Peace. Wait. Peace.